I just came up on some information that may prove that Turning Point USA may have had something to do with it. So I'm just going to play this video and we'll go from there. I'll do a separate live stream if YouTube doesn't take this down. This is crazy.
What you're about to hear isn't a theory. It's a first-hand, under-oath testimony that pulls back the curtain on the single most corrupt political machine we've ever seen in our lifetimes. And it explains a lot of what's happening right now. Part 1, the January 6th blueprint. It was always Turning Point. Manhattan Madam is a political publicist with 16 years experience inside the conservative movement. She sat before the January 6th committee and told a story that should have been front page news for weeks. She didn't plead the fifth, she laid it all out. And here's the core of her testimony, and man, is it explosive. First, the lie. We were told January 6th was a grassroots, organic movement of patriots. That was a lie. It was a professionally planned and lavishly funded operation. The orchestrator, the main funder and organizer, according to her sworn testimony, was Turning Point USA. This is the group that masquerades as campus activism for freedom and limited government. They are, in fact, the architects of an attempted coup, which brings me to the price tag. She was directly told that January 6th cost $650,000. Of that, $450,000 came directly from Turning Point,
which means Turning Point was using donor money to pull off a coup.
Was used for the leverage. That money wasn't for setting stages and sound systems. It was a political weapon. Turning Point used that financial muscle as leverage to get a yes from the president to step
with donor money
on stage. They didn't just support the president. They procured him for the event that would ignite the insurrection. Let that sink in. The dopey, smiling, clean-cut Charlie Kirk, the one who debated college kids, was a central banker for an attack on our Capitol. This wasn't a protest that got out of hand. It was a calculated investment in chaos. And
let me know what y'all think in the comments about this, because this just got to me. And I'm going to do more research on this, but this is somewhere in court findings. This isn't just somebody saying something. Somebody went to court and testified and said this under oath. So this isn't just somebody talking.
What was the return on that investment? Manhattan Madam spells it out. This was their political birth. To quote her,
Manhattan Madam is the one who went to court and apparently talked about this, described this under oath.
This is when they came into their political power. Turning Point faith was started after this. This is when all the grifters started, unquote. The period from 2021 onward saw an explosion of conferences, revivals, and movements. All of them, in her words, grifts designed to monetize the anger that they helped create.
The strangest part isn't Charlie Kirk. It isn't even TPUSA.
This is even crazier. Some of you may have heard a little bit about this, but you haven't heard the bigger story. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the like button.
Strangest part is the lineage behind it. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino wrote a book called Mind War while...
Now look at his eyes and look at his, like, just look at his face. And because we're going to show you another video of when he was younger to make sure y'all know that this actually was him. So pay attention to his face and his eyebrows and his eyes.
Stationed at the Presidio in San Francisco. Not a self-help book. Not a political rant. A blueprint for psychological warfare. Mass persuasion.
Why is his eyebrows like this? There's a specific reason why, and we all know why.
Narrative control, cognitive terrain. And Aquino was also an open Satanist. He never hid it, never denied it.
Aquino and his wife, you are a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army.
Correct.
Now,
as you can see, that's him on Oprah decades ago. And look at the woman next to him.
And how does the Army feel about you being head of the Temple of Set?
The Army has known about my religion for the entire span of my Army career, which began in 1968. And there was a reasonable amount of curiosity, as there has been all the way along.
And the fact that he's on Oprah easily shows you that they're not hiding anything from anybody.
What exactly is this strange and unusual thing? And I've talked about it in much the same way that I've talked here today on your show about it. And other than that, the Army has paid very little attention to it, the same as it would to anybody who was, say, a follower of Hinduism or of Buddhism or any other slightly unusual religion today.
So you just go about your Army duties and it's fine and Okay?
Now here's the part people skip past. Aquino didn't write Mind War alone. His collaborative with retired Major General Paul E. Vallely. Fast forward. Vallely sits on the board at Turning Point USA.
Boom. Just in case y'all were wondering, what does this have to do with Turning Point USA? Right here. This is it.
So take a step back. Strip away the merch, the slogans, the crowd noise. What is TPUSA actually doing? It's not just debating ideas. It's persuasion at scale, changing minds, moving groups, steering perception. And when the same people tied to a psychological warfare playbook are embedded in...
And hold on, I want to make sure y'all get the names of these three people right here. So let me move myself out the way so you can see it right here. So these are the three names. And of course, in the middle is Sammy Davis Jr. But these two right here, I just needed y'all to pay attention to the names so we can all do more research on this situation to get a better understanding.
TPUSA actually doing? It's not just debating ideas. It's persuasion at scale, changing minds, moving groups, steering perception. And when the same people tied to a psychological warfare playbook are embedded inside a movement built to shape mass belief, coincidence stops being a useful explanation. This isn't about symbols. This is about methods. Because Mind War doesn't care what flag you wave. It only cares that you don't notice you're waving it.
And what I want y'all to remember is the primary goal of Turning Point, in my eyes, is to build chapters and church. Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith. They're trying to put chapters in every freaking school, whether it's high school or college, in order to indoctrinate every student in the country. And on top of that, go to the churches and indoctrinate every church in the country. So it gets even worse. In Venezuela, and I'm about to show you a video, the way they were able to just go in there and snatch up Nicholas and his wife and sneak back out of the country is because of something that Lori Franzwe was able to help them with. Remember, she works with the Department of Defense. How in particular? EMPs, electromagnetic pulses. Watch this. This is what Erika's mom helped the United States do a couple days ago.
¿Sí? Si es por parte de su madre o parte... Boludo, se cortó la luz.
Electromagnetic pulses. Erika's mom. All the power just went out. So this is when it gets really worse. This is Erika Kirk's wife's father. Government agencies, including the Department of Defense. And some of you know this already, but keep watching anyway. Erika Kirk's father is known for also working with AZ Tech International, and that's a consulting firm for U.S. government agencies, including Department of Defense and the Department of Energy. Some third-party data indicates that AZ Tech International received contracts totaling over $2.6 million from the Department of Defense between 2000 and 2010. So it gets worse. He has leadership roles, keyword leadership roles, within defense companies like Raytheon's IHOP division, contributing to projects such as IHOP's Iron, I will say, Skillet missile defense system. So what all this means is if Erika's mother and Erika's father are working with IHOP, Erika Kirk's parents are not only working with the missile defense side, the cybersecurity side, but also Superfeed Technologies, which has a lot to do with controlling the narrative of their users when it comes to political campaigns. Remember, she's in cybersecurity and she has your phone data. What do you think she's doing with it? She's finding out what the average person is thinking, wanting, what they're scrolling, what they're looking at, what they're buying, who they may be texting, what they're actually talking about, what content they're sharing, what group chats they're in. So this whole thing is about data farming. Not only do they have the hearts and minds and data of all these students that Charlie Kirk had influence over, they also have the hearts and minds of all of these churches. So it's not just money, it's not just data, but it's influence. And all of this money, data, and influence is going back, or is funneled back to IHOP. And now, because of Erika Kirk and her parents, IHOP now knows where your daughter lives, where your son lives, their ages, their preferences, their wants, their needs, what type of nasty sites they're going on in their phones. And since all these young people signed up for Turning Point USA and their database, and millions of young people signed up for their terms and conditions, which nobody read, which now they're geotagged, which means somebody may actually know not only where your daughter is, but where your daughter goes to when she goes shopping, what mall she likes to go to, what movie theater she likes to go to. So when we talk about Erika Kirk, when we talk about Turning Point USA, this is about the United States military. This is about the traffic lights. This is about the tadpoles. And I don't mean traffic lights as in power. I mean traffic lights as in trafficking. I just don't like to use that word. So this family, not just Erika Kirk, is extremely dangerous. So if you want me to do a separate live stream about this and go farther into this and do more research into this right here, let me know what you think in the comments. Just say Go Max in the comments and I'll do a part 2 or a full live stream. But let me know in the comments. Say Go Max in the comments if you want me to do a live stream about this.